Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Warren,
And this is Jay.
and we know we've been away for a minute, but we got a lot to talk about. So let's go ahead and get started. This is the Eagles Collective. Let's do it. What's going on, everybody? Hey, Jay. So we haven't been on here for a while, so let's just do a small little catch up. How's everything been with you and the family?
Everything's good. Everything's good. It sucks not having football around. So, it's a little bit boring on Sundays now, but
Yeah,
we occupy the time now with regular life. So it's
definitely,
not going too
definitely.
bad.
Yeah, I feel you. Same thing over here. It's like you don't know what to do anymore. Now
Yeah.
we got basketball right now, but we might be getting baseball. I think it was the first spring game was yesterday, so I
Yeah.
watched a little bit of that. But yeah, bro, we obviously got a lot that's been happening since the last time we were on. We'll go ahead and get started with a few of these, and let's just start off with just the team going to Brazil the very first week. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I feel like we got screwed last year, with tough schedule, hardest schedule, Super Bowl team. So we played the toughest schedule in the NFL, and it caught up to us towards the end of the season, mixed with all the problems they were having. But an international game week one, I'm not that fond of it. I'm not
Yeah,
too happy to have to start our first game on in such a treacherous situation. All the way in Brazil, it's not going to be the same. But they definitely need to keep the Eagles out of the bad. The people with got
yeah,
bad intentions in the schedule making.
yeah, definitely. And shout out to Dwayne. We appreciate you watching us,
What's going
um,
on, Dwayne?
checking us out on
Long
this
time.
Monday. Yeah, but with that, I'm kind of right there with you. I kind of like that they're going out of the country to play. Let the whole country know who the Eagles are. So
Yeah,
we usually get like the Jaguars going out there. I know Kansas City last year went out there. So it's just our time to just make an appearance and just let the world know who we are, bro. And you know they're trying to
absolutely.
make the NFL. They want other countries to create teams out there. So and they want people out there to have an NFL team. So it's definitely awesome. It's good to get that exposure out there.
It's
So
funny.
yeah.
I like the idea of the game and everything. I just wish it wasn't us playing there. But like you said, it's good for
Hmm.
the organization and the exposure, for the sport. But international games are tricky. The London games and the some of those games been like a little bit boring. The Germany games seemed a little bit more live with the crowd, but
Yeah.
it's just different seeing football and other elements.
Is that more because is it more like you kind of concerned about the players' sleep schedules?
Oh, the sleep schedule, the build up to that, that's I'm not saying that's a Super Bowl, but it's a big thing. You got to travel, a lot of media, language
Hmm.
barrier stuff going on. It's just, and then it's a lot just to play one game, and then it's how we start the season off. So week one is going to be a spectacular week one as far as have everything that they have to do leading up to the game. So it's a little
Yeah,
disadvantage to me.
definitely. And I'll give a few shout outs right now. Shout out to Don, to Vincent, everybody that's checking us out right now. Appreciate y'all checking us out.
Appreciate
Dwayne
it,
made
bro.
a Dwayne said, "Missed the show. I've been on, but I'm back in." Yeah, we haven't been on either. So like right now, how when was the last time we were on, Jay? I want to say maybe like late January.
Yeah, right after basically right before the last game.
Yeah, so we haven't been on that much. So you haven't been missing anything. So we all good. And then that was Vincent saying that it was nothing. He posted up a Facebook link, but he said that we'll check that out later. But
Yeah, no
yeah, most
problem.
definitely. We appreciate you guys checking us out. Um, yeah, They did play in
Yeah,
London. It's
see,
nothing new.
that's the
Yeah.
good thing that they had the London game, so the experience is there.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So we'll go ahead and get started first by just going over a little bit of the new coaches that we got on staff. So right now, this is the coaching updates right now. As far as the offensive court and the offensive side of the ball. So Jay, what do you think about the new coaching staff that we got?
It took a while to get the coaching staff together, but I think that they were waiting to see exactly what they were going to do with the offense, and then they brought in a couple different coaches. I don't know much about these guys. I've been looking up, and a lot of them are young. They're trying to keep the staff looks like on the youthful side, which I don't know how good that is. Not many of these guys have too much experience, but I like the D line coach. I think we got him from Seattle, Clint Williams. I think I've heard of good things about him, so interesting to see what he's gonna do with the D line.
Yeah, no, I am too. And see, the thing is about it, this has been my opinion with everything. I think we were so confident in that 2022 team to
Hmm.
where we thought it didn't matter who was our coach, we were going to be good, and that ended up backfiring on us. So now knowing that the organization sees that and they're making changes by not necessarily kicking those old coaches out, but just kind of just letting them know like, hey, we appreciate you, but we need experience right now, and they're bringing in experienced coaches. So along with that coach as well, they also got the defense. The defense has new coaches.
Yeah, Clint Hurt. I said
Um,
Clint Williams. That's what I meant. Clint Hurt. That's what I was talking
yeah,
about. And I've
Clint
heard
Hurt
good
is
things
yeah.
about Christian Parker also.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what Clint Hurt can do with Jordan Davis. That's my number one thing that I want to see, a big change with Jordan Davis, because he's doing well, but he can be better for
Yeah,
for his athleticism, his size, his strength. He could be doing a lot better. And I think
absolutely.
I think Clint Hurt can kind of get that
And he
exposed out
made
of
a
him a
good
little bit.
statement, Clint Hurt. He said he doesn't want to see big guys going backwards. So when he said that, that kind
Hmm.
of got me thinking, like, this guy, he's already gonna get, he already has a plan and set in his mind.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, that's what we need, and we need somebody that's going to help keep Jalen Carter caught up too. That's the biggest thing.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah. So we got that, and then we got Christian Parker. Christian Parker was with the Broncos, so he got a little bit of experience with Patrick
Sertan.
Sertan. Yeah, so he can kind of maybe bring that skill set over to our secondary. That would be nice to see. Um, we got Bobby King as the linebacker coach. We all know that linebackers is our weakest position right now on the defensive side, and we want to get that corrected. So having somebody like Bobby King can definitely help with all that. But yeah, as far as the offense and the defensive side, Jay, what are you what are you kind of more excited for on that side? Like on which side, more offense or defense?
The offense, we saw the offense stall so much, but to me, I'm a little bit more concerned toward the defense, and I'll tell you why. Because the defense, to me, usually sets the tone on any team, and without the link I gave you, the linebackers, they did their homework. Oh, thanks a lot, Vince. We appreciate that.
Yeah.
It's just the defense to me is what sets the tone of the Eagles. When they don't have a good defense, to me, they don't have a good team. They're not one of those teams who's just going to outgun you, have to score 40 a game, 35 a game, put up crazy offense every single game. To me, their identity has to revolve a lot around defense. As much as Jalen is there, as much as AJ is there, as much as offense sells tickets, they need to get back to that ferocious defense that they've had in past days. So I just think that the defense to me is where, because that's what lost us the Super Bowl. They couldn't get a
Hmm.
stop. You feel me? That's what crumbled towards the end of the season. Even though the offense was stalling, defense was just crumbling. They could not tackle. That was probably the worst tackling I've seen from an Eagles team. And I'm only been an Eagles fan of 2 decades, but I've never seen an Eagles team tackle so poorly like last year's team. Like it was every single game, and yards after the catches would kill them. So they shot themselves in the foot in a lot of things last year that next year I hope it doesn't carry over.
Yeah, most definitely. Let's read these comments that they got right here. We'll go back to that one, that the link that Vincent sent about the link uh, on the linebacker core at the Senior Bowl. And right now, this is Dwayne saying we need an infusion of new, young, talented coaches. I agree. Um, we do want young, talented coaches, but we got to understand too that we got young, talented players that we trying to bring in. So I think getting some seasoned coaches is going to help. So a good mixture of what we got right now is is what we have. So I think last year we had a lot of inexperienced coaches. So you
Yeah,
got a
you
lot
know
of
what?
coaches that know
What
more
Warren is a
than what
good
the coaches are
influx and
saying.
balance.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
is. It
And
is. But at the coordinator position is where we cannot do what we did last year and try to go with two guys with little to no experience and just expect for them to just take a good team and make them better. They're not going to elevate them. You understand what I'm trying to say?
yeah,
So the hiring of Vangio is very good for the Eagles defense because if he locks in, because he's not going nowhere, he's not gonna take a head coaching job anyway. You don't gotta worry about him getting fired. He came to Philly to be close to his family and coach the Eagles. So if he could get a good system going, we're
hmm
gonna be good because he's not going anywhere because he's gonna stay there at least a couple seasons. I don't see
yeah,
him going ahead and taking a head coaching position, no matter how good they do. As far as that.
exactly. And Vincent has a point. The development of the defensive line, the most important. They invest a lot
Yep.
in that position. That's
That's 100% a
J.
fact.
Yeah,
You
Jalen
know why?
Carter,
You know why?
Nolan
Because
Smith, all these boys.
they rely heavily on defense, the defensive line for pressure. You understand? If their defensive line, in which they invested so much money, is doing nothing, and we were in the middle
hmm
of the pack last year with sacks, come on,
hmm
it's a
Yeah.
waste.
No, you're right. And we got to figure out if Jordan Davis is going to be that guy. We got to figure out if Nolan Smith is going to be that next guy. We pick these people in the draft last year to make sure that they can fill in these roles for these players like Hassan Reddick, like Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham. That's why we have them there. And he said defense couldn't catch a cold. That's facts, Dwayne. That's real facts.
They really
Um,
couldn't. They really could not at all. Nobody. It just everybody was running down on them. The Arizona Cardinals was running down on them. The new. You know what's funny? Yesterday, me and my son were just watching a couple, like through watching the TV. Ended up on NFL Network. They were showing the Giants and the Eagles game, and I'm looking at that score 24-0, and it's just the
mhm.
feeling came over me again about how bad, how rock bottom that team hit.
Yeah, yeah, and
No
we're gonna
disrespect to
actually.
any organization, but the Giants, the Cardinals, those are teams you should have wiped the floor with. We're
Yeah,
looking at the schedule all season. Like they're gonna wipe the floor at the end of the year. They're gonna go on
hmm
a little 3 game run at the end of the year, get 3 wins easily. It was not the
yeah,
case.
yeah, and we're gonna talk a little bit more about that with what AJ was saying. Um, Vincent says that Fangio sucks. He
Yeah,
said
you
it
know,
was
I'm
Saturday
trying,
night.
I'm trying to. You know what it is with Vangio? His defense is don't bend, don't break. So it's like keep everything in front of you. A lot of little plays, but tackling is gonna be big because he likes to. He keeps the two high safeties back there. It's gonna be, it's gonna be, you know, cool to see that him utilize the younger players more, the Sidney Browns, the Eli Ricks, the younger guys, because he's
Mhm.
gonna utilize them more.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. What do you? I know we've been talking a little bit about the defense. What do you think about the about our offense with Kellen Moore now being our offensive coordinator now?
Warren, let me tell you something. The Vangio signing, I had to come around on that like a little bit. Like I had to really, really come around. But we have to accept it. But the more
hmm
higher I really like it, I'm gonna tell you why. Before Dak started really getting explosive, it was Kellen Moore. You
hmm
understand? When Dak was vanilla and he couldn't get anything going, it was Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore
hmm
is the one who got Dak Prescott to start pushing the ball up the field, get these misdirection plays going, these gadget plays going. A lot of traditional play action plays. That's the
Yeah.
type of offense he taught Dak. And then all of a sudden, Dallas felt like this guy's getting vanilla and boring and whatever. And it went well for them going into their next step. But to me, he was good in Dallas. He wasn't as good in San Diego. I mean, sorry, in Los Angeles. He wasn't as good there. But they also had a lot of internal things going on with the coaching and problems, just like Philadelphia. So you could also look at them like an Eagles team who underwhelmed even way more than the Eagles, because the Chargers should have been at least been a winning team last year, and they were not a good team last year, and their
Yeah,
offense sputtered at times. But I think the more hire is good for Jalen. I think that Jalen's gonna get back to some play actions. The RPOs is gone, but I could just see Kellen Moore and Jalen Hurts really going to work. I could really see them going to work and Jalen having a big, big passing year.
yeah, and I think the biggest thing that I see as a change with bringing in Kellen Moore compared to Brian Johnson and taking Nick Sirianni out of the play calling and out of that sort of realm on the football field is more of just scheming. There was no scheme and there was no like motion. There was none of that going on the
Yeah.
whole time watching, and that's what Kellen Moore likes to do. So I think with the weapons that Kellen Moore has right now, he's probably like a little kid in the candy shop. Like he has all these ideas of different things he wants to do with the players that he has. Because even though he was in Dallas, he did not have two dominant receivers like that. He
Nope.
did not have two dominant receivers, including a dominant tight end.
Nope.
So it's so many more options he can use now, and he can play around with it. And now you got a quarterback that's actually like a running quarterback as well. So as good as Jalen is, and then hopefully with the running back that we get, we can be getting a solid running back. There are just so many things that you can do and be creative with the offense that we have. So just waiting to see what type of I'm just waiting to see what type of new plans they got set up and what type of schemes they have in place for the upcoming team.
Yeah, I want to see what identity they're gonna form and what are they gonna be. Are they gonna be what type of team? Because Nick Sirianni. This is another thing too. If Nick Sirianni's the problem, he's still in the building. So we probably would be stagnant or just be the same or not have any growth. But he's not calling the plays. He's on offense or defense. He's overseeing the team. So it's more like a yes man position. I think he's on a short leash. I just want to see what's the identity going to be. He's going to get another shot to see what he could bring to this team as a head coach. But I could also see him going through major changes internally in himself to try to be a better coach for next year. Maybe we all needed that as fans, as a team, as everything, as an organization, because this is 10-point lead at the Super Bowl, 2 quarters away from winning the Super Bowl, and then hit rock bottom last year, all in a span of a few months. So it's
Yeah.
just it's tougher as an organization to intake. What is the identity of this team? Are we weak? Are they weak?
Hmm. Yeah. No, I definitely see what you mean. My biggest thing is we just need to make sure that we do not make Jalen what he's not. And I
Absolutely.
know they want to take the RPOs out, but they also want to extend Jalen's career and not have him be that mobile quarterback that just gets injured within the next 5 years.
That's
So I
absolutely a
think
fact.
so I think that's why they're trying to up his passing game, which I'm pretty sure Jalen appreciates and AJ, Devontae, Goddard, all them boys appreciate. But at the end of the day, we cannot take away what Jalen's talent is because that is what Jalen was in the 2022 season. That's what got him to the Super Bowl. Maybe not doing that same exact thing, but maybe upgrading it, enhancing it, adding a little bit more to the playbook, adding more scheme to the playbook can get us right back there. And last year we did not get that. If anything, we got a fall off from the 2022 season with the increase in
Oh, we
interceptions.
definitely got to fall off. We
Yeah,
definitely got to fall 100%,
exactly.
Warren. And it
Yeah.
wasn't a little fall off. It all season, and shout to Dwayne because I remember Dwayne. Remember, trying to be optimistic, and Dwayne was like, "This team is not good," and they were not good. As
Yeah,
much talent as they had all season, and
yeah.
even he came around towards this, end of the season, and we're trying to be optimistic with our chances because they kept giving us these little glimpses of hope. And after the Buffalo game, Jalen's on top of the NFL MVP
Hmm.
candidate, 10-1, and things just went all the way left. And people are gonna continue to say San Francisco broke us. I believe that not San Francisco broke us, but I just believe the flow of that game, Dom getting ejected, us going in with so much animosity towards them and then getting punched, and then them being tired from the quote unquote gauntlet. Everything just
Hmm.
caught up to them, at that moment. And I just think from there, it just spiraled backwards. But they were all season, they were just getting by, making plays. And people want to talk about Jalen. Let me tell you something. If this Eagles team didn't have Jalen, they don't win 4 or 5 games next year, maybe. How would
Yeah.
they have won those games with who? When how? Like what?
Hmm.
How would they have won those games? So without Jalen, we would have definitely been in the red and deep in the water. You understand? I just think that Kellen Moore and him are gonna fly. They're gonna fly. They're
They have
literally
to
gonna
have that
fly.
relationship. Their
Yeah, they're gonna
relationship
fly. I
is
think
going
it's
to
gonna
determine
work.
how well that offense is.
Because I
That's what's going to
remember
happen.
Kellen Moore
Hmm.
specifically taking Dak Prescott and making him creative. Literally. Teaching him how to push the ball up the field. Be creative. Be deceptive. Throw them off. Like he's taught him so many things. And Kellen Moore is a big part of Dak Prescott's success as far as a player.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Everything you're saying, you state in facts right now. That's kind of why I'm excited to see Kellen Moore. As far as Vic Fangio, we'll see what he does with this defense. I think he has a plan and he has a scheme. The goal is he going to be able to get these players that he wants to fit his scheme and to fit what he's trying to do.
They need
Um,
another corner, Warren. They need a one young fast corner. You could
mhm.
deal with a vet on the other side at the CB2 position, but you need a fast corner. I want to also see how Ringo develops in the offseason because Ringo had a couple flashes toward the end of the season.
Yeah, I
See what's
believe
going
this
to
is Vincent too.
yeah. Here's the thing, the RPO. Okay, here's the thing. RPO doesn't much of the Eagles. Jaden looked good on the center last year. We need more of that. I definitely agree with under center, man. A traditional quarterback play. The shotgun, you cannot always just run it out the shotgun, giving people a chance to tee up. More offense will utilize Smith and Brown and Goddard better. Swift is the key. They need to bring him back. I agree. Swift needs to be back. They could bring him back on a good deal, on a nice deal. Hopefully, hometown kid. But the under center part is it right there. I would
That
love to
is.
see Jalen getting under center, more play action, more, misdirection. Definitely a little bit of more traditional quarterback play than always in the shotgun.
No, I agree with you.
Yeah,
Now,
he's in the shotgun too much.
so we'll talk about a few new pickups that the Eagles acquired so far this season. Um, they re-signed Albert O, the tight end from the Broncos. Um, with Kellen Moore's scheme, he likes to utilize the tight ends, so I can see that's why they're bringing Albert O back in, see what he can do, put him on the practice squad. Um, Another player that they brought in from the 49ers is actually, it's my bad, Tayron Price.
Running
He's a
back,
running back. Yeah, running back for the 49ers. He was drafted back in 2022, I believe, played for LSU. Um, the thing about this running back is he's a physical back. So
big
he's
back,
a
big
lot,
back.
yeah, he's a lot bigger than your traditional running back. Like he's a lot bigger than Swift, a lot bigger than Gainwell, Scott. Like he's that physical back that we can get in when we need to get inside the end zone. So I think that's a great addition.
We need a Garrett Blunt carbon copy. That's what we need. Somebody like
Yeah,
that.
exactly. And along with that, we picked up the outside linebacker, Julian Okara. but yeah, we
Another
picked him
third
up.
round pick.
Yeah, we picked him up from. Well, he was drafted in 2020, third round draft pick with the Lions. The Lions actually cut him right after, right no, right before that their NFC Championship game. So he's made a lot of impact on the Lions defense. So seeing what he could do, would definitely help and get him at least get him in the room, see how he performs, see if we got something good, or if this can just be a simple cut after the off season. But
Yeah, you know, we usually sign these guys. Some of them don't make it, some of them do. Some of them end up needing a change of scenery to get a better, a better perspective on things. But, I like the moves early and often, and Eagles are always wheeling and dealing.
exactly, and that's one of the things that we like about the GM that we got.
Hmm.
Um, but you said Camp Body's nothing serious. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not, but they're pickups, and
Yeah.
I think with the pickups, it
The
kind of
price one, I want to look into him a little bit more because, like I said, they brought Penny, and Penny was active, inactive, dressed, not dressed. We need a bruising back, at least one of them on the guy. Somebody to get up short yard situations and change the pace.
yeah, no, we definitely do. And my thing on the running back position is I would like to keep Swift. I would like to. But if there's some way we can have Swift take a team friendly discount and we could get like a Josh Jacobs in, or maybe like
Derrick
I would
Henry is
like
who
to
I
get,
would.
yeah.
Derrick Henry is who we all dreaming for, man. You know what? And I'll tell you why right now.
Derrick Henry is who we want, but I think for the price that Derrick Henry would like to have, we would have to at least we have to get a lot of cap space for that, and that's what
But
we're
I
probably
think
going to
I
talk about
think
later.
I think what people don't know, he declined a little bit, so his price is not as high as people think it's gonna be. Like Swift is gonna demand more money than Henry would. So they may be in a position to do that. But let's just see where his numbers at. Remember the cap space went up 30 million, I think it is each team. So everybody's gonna have a
Yeah,
little bit, a couple dollars extra to, make a move.
yeah, we're gonna go over the cap space too. Actually, since you just mentioned it, this is what they got about the cap space right now. So, the Eagles would have 27 million in space, could create extra room. So if we do these simple things, not simple, I take that back. If we can make these type of things happen, which is cutting Kevin Byard, we can get 13 million back. Reddick, extending Reddick, we can get 11 million back. Extending Devontae, we can get 1.8, and then extending Landon Dickerson, we get 200K. That'll have our cap space at 54 mil. So that can seem like something that's doable, don't you think?
Yeah, I could see
Yeah,
Bayard. I could see them cutting Bayard as far as because they put heavy praise in the Blankenship, and also Sidney Brown is also going to be the safety of the future. Hopefully, if he could recover from his injury swiftly, but cutting Bayard to extend those three players would definitely be something to do in their favor. But I'm hearing that the Reddick deal, he's asking for like what 24,
25.
25,
Yeah,
and
he's asking
they're
for
like in the
25
20
mil.
million, $21 million range. So if it's a few $1 million that's off, it's gonna be sad if he leaves for just a few million off, which could be assessed from another position. But I want Reddick to stay. I hope he stays, and they just don't drop him back in coverage in this new scheme.
Yeah, and going back to the running
People say it
backs,
doesn't fit.
yeah, he's talking about AJ Dillon.
Yeah,
AJ Dillon is who I would like to bring in if we
Dylan's
do
good
keep
too.
Swift. If we keep Swift, I would like to bring in AJ Dillon as that bruiser back like we're talking about. Um, AJ Dillon can actually also he can block. So
Yeah,
that's one reason why we want Derrick Henry as well to block. I personally just think Derrick Henry is just trying to get a check right now. He's playing for it. He's not going to play with the passion that I think Swift played for. Because Swift came, he's playing for his hometown.
yeah,
I think if Derrick Henry is coming, this is like his farewell tour, just with a different team.
yeah.
And I don't. We're not in the business of trying to do that right now, especially with the players that we got and with the team that we have. Derrick Henry sounds good, but I think AJ Dillon would be a lot better. That's just my personal opinion on that.
AJ Dillon would be a good pickup too. I'm not gonna lie. If they could pick up him,
Hmm.
he's an underrated back in my opinion.
AJ Dillon?
Yeah, I think he's underrated.
Yeah, it's because Aaron Jones is that star on that team,
Yeah,
and that's what I'm saying. If we can do something like that, like what the Packers did, get AJ Dillon in there, and then we got Swift. Like
That would be sick.
yeah, bro. So like that's kind of where I'm at with the running back position, or honestly, picking up getting a new running back in the draft right now. Like me personally, I like Brooks from UT. I think he would be the perfect running back for us.
I haven't looked up at any running backs. I'm looking more into the skill, like the high, the wide receivers, quarterbacks. But the defense is to me where they're definitely going to go in the beginning of the draft. But they could pick up a back or a guy like that later in the middle or in the middle of the draft. I could see that happening.
Yeah, most definitely. As we move forward, I'm just gonna give me and Jay like to play a game called cut sign or cut or sign, and we try to look at the free agents that we have right now. And you guys are more than happy to join us on this. We kind of just go through each player and we decide whether it's worth keeping them, re-signing them, or we can just cut them. But here's our list right here. So first, first we'll start off with Jason Kelsey. Uh, I'll go first on this one. I would like to keep Jason Kelsey. Even though he is getting a lot older, he's been letting us know that he does get in a lot of pain um, in the season. But for his performance as he is right now, as one of the top centers in the league, it would kind of almost be silly to lose him. Um, just with the new offensive coordinator. And Kelsey is a tush push. I will say this. Kelsey is a tush push with Jalen. You cannot
Yeah,
get another center and still have the tush push or the brotherly shove. We can't have it. Won't be possible
absolutely.
anymore. Um, but yeah, I think we should keep Kelsey, give him a solid deal. I know last year we paid him 10 million to stay with us for a year. Maybe if we have this salary cap deal that we just posted up, maybe we can bring him in. But Jay, where are you at on Kelsey?
Well, you know how I feel about Kelsey. I have basically a whole Kelsey shrine somewhere up here. You can't even see it on the camera. But I didn't want to watch his documentary until after the season for that reason.
Mm-hmm.
I watched it, and I'll be honest with you. If Jason Kelsey continues his, I'm 100% okay with it. Do I want to see him suit up one more time and not go out how he had to go out? Of course, but
Mm-hmm.
from a financial standpoint, it would free up so much. There would be there's another $10 to $12 million extra you could pay somebody else to do a pretty significant role on the team. To me, it's all personal gain. That's the one here that I'm gonna go against what I really want, which is in the state, and I'm gonna say go only because of from the financial aspect of what the Eagles can do filling that void.
Okay. And Jay, what I'm gonna have you do is I'm gonna let you give your thoughts on Fletcher Cox. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back and kind of
Right.
just let the people know what you think about keeping
Yeah.
Fletch.
So you see with Fletcher, this is the thing. How happy is Fletcher with Philadelphia? Not happy at the moment because of how we collapsed. Does he still have some game in him? Yeah, he still got some game in him. He was making a couple plays in the playoff game and throughout the year he's not the same guy, rotate, he has to rotate. It's not like he's a full-time starter, at all times, but I think Fletcher could leave because he might be able to fetch more money somewhere else, even as a veteran. Somebody's gonna want to bring him in the building, but I'm gonna say he stays because it's gonna be tough to see him leave Midnight Green, and I don't think he wants to do that at all. I don't think he wants to leave Midnight Green. I think he wants to stay Eagle for the rest of his career. I don't see that happening. If we want to go down to Brandon Graham is another one. If Brandon Graham wants to stay, he definitely would have to take a significant pay cut, because once again they're holding up spots that could be for other players that are rotational a little bit younger than them. Mariota definitely out. Um, I don't see him yet. I don't see that working, Mariota. I went down the list a little bit, bro.
Okay. Yeah, no worries. So we'll go back to Vincent's comment. Kelsey made 15 mil. That's
You
my
see,
bad.
15. It
Yeah,
was 10 the year before.
yeah, yeah. So I heard you talk about Fletch. Now Fletch has been in talks about playing for other teams, and that he might just be wanting the money. Um, I would like to keep Fletch just because even when the Eagles were not performing well on the defense, he stepped up at those times that we needed him to. So I don't think I can see mid-season Jalen Carter kind of taking the reins and now filling in that role, and
Mhm.
Jordan Davis if they perform to what we expect them to be. Um, so yeah, that's where I'm at with Fletcher Cox. So I would keep him. Brandon Graham, he said he wants this year to be his farewell tour. Sorry, and I can see that. I would like to
Yeah,
have
I can
Brandon
see. I
Graham
can see it
back.
come back in a vet deal.
Yeah, but these players, when it comes to Fletch and when it comes to Brandon Graham, I feel like there needs to be a real come to Jesus conversation on, hey, this is what we can offer. We can't we're trying to get the team to where we want to be, to where it's Super Bowl caliber. If you wanna end your whole career off as an Eagle, we would need this from you. I think it has to be that type of conversation. And it's up to them to decide if they want to do it or not. Um,
Absolutely.
that's with both of them. And when it comes to Marcus Mariota, I think they already cut Marcus Mariota. So
Yeah,
we're eating,
he's
yeah, we're
going. Yeah,
eating,
that's why I
yeah,
went.
we're eating that already.
Yeah,
Um,
I
Swift,
think
I would
3
like to keep.
is the salary, dead cap salary hit.
Yeah. Marcus Mariota got that dead cap salary for us. Um, and Swift, I would like to keep,
Keep
of course. What are your thoughts on that?
Swift. Keep. I would like to keep Swift. He fits the offense, and they definitely didn't utilize him enough towards the end of the season.
Okay. Yeah, and then Boston Scott, as much as I hate to say it, um, I think we need to move on from Boston Scott.
Me too.
Yeah, we got to move on from Boston. We appreciate everything he's done for the team, um, and but we can't keep him right now, especially for what we're trying to do and where we're trying to go, unless he's willing to be a punt return or a kick returner. That's it. But yeah, that's I don't think it's necessary to keep Boston Scott. What are your thoughts?
I think he should go too. I think it's time to move on. Also, he didn't play even enough last year compared to what he's played the last couple of years and impact he's had in certain games. I just don't think it's worth it anymore.
Okay. And then we got Zach Cunningham. Um, I know Howie in his press conference he mentioned they liked the way how Zach Cunningham performed in the role, but I think we can find better. I just feel
Absolutely.
like we can find
Unless
better.
he wants to sign on a lower deal, because his numbers were very much up and down, very much up and down.
Yeah.
I would let him go.
Now remember, Cunningham is famous for that Dak hit.
Yeah,
Um,
the flip.
yeah, he's
I was
he's
thinking
famous
about
for the
that.
Dak flip. Um, Justin Evans, safety. I think cut. We don't really need him. Um, we can pick up safeties in the draft. The
Mhm.
free agency has safeties right now that are in the works that we can be picking up. Shaq Leonard. Well, my bad. Justin Evans. What do you think on Justin Evans?
Justin Evans, he was off injured last year. I think they could go from him too. I think you could pick up other depth. A lot of these players that were depth pieces on last year's team, I don't want them there anymore because none of them showed up for the Eagles last year down the stretch. Basically none of them. So
Yeah.
I would get a lot of these guys and just bring in more camp bodies and extra people who could have a chance to make it.
No, I agree with you. And then you got Shaq Leonard. I think we're good. We don't
I think he's
necessarily
gonna
need
get
him.
also too because he was another one. Not much impact. Some of these guys are gonna probably come back on low deals, prove it deals. I think that'll happen. But go.
Yeah. Suo Peta. I think we should extend him.
I would extend
Uh,
Opeta too, and I would
yeah.
extend Opeta just for the simple fact that you threw him in the fire, He didn't do too bad towards the end of the season. He actually increased his stock. So
He
I
held
would
his
definitely
own.
sign him as a depth piece for the offensive line, as the Eagles like interchangeable offensive linemen and guys who are familiar with their system and as far as offensive lines. So I'll
Yeah,
keep Opeta, even
like I
though got
said,
his ass
Bradbury
whooped
is
a
a
couple
killer.
times.
Bradbury's contract is killer. Him and Slay's contract are
Oh
both getting
man,
everybody. Um, Rashad Penny. I think this is the easy one.
go.
Yeah, we're good. We appreciate you. Um, Zacchaeus, I would like to keep Zacchaeus actually. I would much
Yeah,
rather have Zacchaeus than Watkins.
yeah, I could see Zacchaeus end up being like a practice squad guy for the team, or just sticking around as a fourth or fifth receiver. But they need a better W3. I mean WR3. They need a better one, because let me tell you something, man. After AJ and Devontae, I said it all season, the drop off is like off a cliff. Because
Hmm.
you could do at least AJ or Devontae, at least one of them. But when you don't have either one, or you're right after them, who's up? Eagles have nobody, man. They definitely need some, and I think it has to be a bigger style receiver.
Yes, no, I agree with you. Nicholas Morrow. It all
I w-
depends on what decisions we make in the linebacker position. I still want to see what Nakobe Dean can do. We haven't seen Nakobe Dean play a 3 game stretch.
Nope. That's kind of crazy.
So we haven't seen him play a 3 game stretch. I want to see what they see in him and what he can do. Um, we technically have not seen the full Georgia Dogs team on the field at once, if you really think about it, because
That's
even
true.
Ringo wasn't even out there at times. So
That's true.
Brandon Mann, punter, I think he did decent. I would re-sign him back. What do you think?
I think I would resign, man. I would also resign, man. I would resign him.
Okay. What do you think about Jack Driscoll?
So to me, it'll either be Driscoll or Opeta. One of them is gonna stay. One of them is gonna go. Driscoll is another one. He was getting killed beginning of the season, and towards the end of the season, at least he started picking up his assignments more. I think it'll be a preference thing with them. I probably would go with Opeta,
Okay.
but then it's just I seen Opeta get whooped in the beginning, but then I also seen him hold it down. So I think he's gonna go Driscoll. I think Driscoll was gonna fetch a couple dollars somewhere else.
Okay. And
Offensive linemen are hard to find.
they're very hard to find. And then we got Sean Bradley, linebacker.
Yeah, I would cut him to another depth piece.
Yeah. And then Vincent made a good point that Steen is taking over at tackle. Um,
Tyler Steen.
yeah. So the thing is, Cam Jurgens right now is playing guard. If Kelsey decides to retire, Cam Jurgens will take over the center position. And Steen would fill in that role that Cam took in last year. So Steen made a comment saying that if Kelsey was to leave, he's more than confident in himself to be able to fill in and kind of just like it shouldn't be a, a
A worry.
we shouldn't skip a beat. Honestly, he's confident in his ability on the field to where it shouldn't hurt us. I like the confidence. I can definitely say that. Um, and then we got Sean Bradley. I think that's a simple cut. I think,
Yeah, cut. Yeah, cut.
and then Quez Watkins. I think that's a cut as well.
Quez, I think his time is numbered in Philadelphia. I think mentally the fans have gotten into his head. It's just one of those receivers. You got to put him in the category that could not handle the pressure of Philadelphia.
Yeah. So yeah, that's where I'm at with these free agents right now. That if we sign or keep or let go, um, that's where I'm at with that. But moving forward, we did have AJ Brown on Friday come out and speak to the press on, well, not the press, but just
Well,
the radio station.
specifically WIP.
Yeah, the WIP radio
He got
station.
it. He got them. I'm happy.
Yeah, give him his, and he kind of spoke his mind on what his thoughts were on everything. Because I don't know, like if we told everybody, we're not big on rumors on our
Yeah.
channel. We don't like talking about it. I think it's empty calories. So I definitely get what AJ's talking about because things always change. You don't really know if it's true. A lot of it is like clickbait to
Ridiculous
get,
rumors, though.
yeah,
Ridiculous ones.
yeah, to get
Not even
conversations
regular
going.
rumors. This guy's trading this guy. It's just like real personal things.
Yeah. So, what do you think about that talk that he had on WIP?
Listen, look, first of all, you see the book up there, Angelo. I met Angelo
Loud?
Cataldi.
Yeah.
Met him on Saturday. I was in Philly over the weekend. I went for a card show, and I got to meet him, and we got to speak a little bit of birds and stuff, and here and there, and and Angelo's a big part of Philadelphia's identity as far as being a tough city. But even speaking to him, we were just, how do you feel about Jalen? And he's like, I'm on board with Jalen. And then it's like another member of the media may feel like he's off board with Jalen. And then it's like in the media, when you have guys who don't like the quarterback or don't believe in the quarterback, they're gonna tear him down. And I feel like calling them out, or at least putting them on a spot to answer that question directly, like why are you doing this? Who are you? Why are you doing this to this team? So I really respect what he did for that. And my thought is just the Philly media really needs to take a step back. A serious step back. And they're not gonna do that. They're not gonna who are we as fans to tell them to take a step back? They're not gonna
Yeah.
do that. They're not
Because
gonna
they're the
do that.
same ones to give us information
The
on
same ones
this
that
simple thing. Yeah.
they're not gonna do that. But the ridiculousness of the rumors
Yeah.
is really what it comes down to for me. That's what it
No.
comes down to for me. The ridiculous. You could have rumor about this guy, that guy, but to constantly like look, other teams, their off season is not as busy as our off season. Eagles are not going to have a quiet off season. This is not going to be an off season where you just forget about the team, let them all enjoy Cancun. Like you're worried. You're worried in the direction of where these people are going.
Yeah.
Where these people are going. AJ, yep. AJ definitely. From what I heard, look at this comment. From what I heard, the team wasn't happy with Jalen, his body language on the sideline. AJ was putting Jalen on blast, not for playing up to his fullest potential. There was a little bit when he was saying certain things about Jalen, like he's not going to speak on this, and you could feel a little bit that he's basically saying that he's a more vocal leader than Jalen. He basically said that. He said Jalen's not the guy who's going to, and basically I think that's what they want. But to go back to what you said, Warren, we cannot push Jalen to be something he's not. If he's
Mm.
not that loud with it, he's not that loud with it. There's certain quarterbacks that's who they are. But from your
Yeah.
quarterback, you definitely want a little bit more and motivation. So I could
Well,
see
yeah.
where that comment came from.
Well, AJ even said he's like, I'm the one that's vocal, and when it comes to that, because if you ask Jalen to do that, you're asking him to be unauthentic, and that's not Jalen.
Mm-hmm.
That's not how Jalen operates.
Mm-hmm.
But he also made the comment that Jalen was like this when we were winning. When we went to the Super Bowl, Jalen was like that.
Yeah. So
He was
exactly.
already
So
like that. So what are we? So what are we even talking about? That's what he's saying.
why are you trying to make a guy change his system and format because everything's crumbling around him? Another thing I
Yeah.
spoke to with Angelo about the team, you know, coaching. Number one is their number one issue. I don't care as bad as you can say Jalen the leader, this guy talking, this guy. Their coaching was to the bottom of the bottom, as bad as you could get as an NFL team.
Hmm.
So I don't put that much on him, on Jalen. Like I said, without Jalen, we probably won 4 or 5 games last year. If you
Yeah.
really truly think about it, Marcus Mariota wasn't getting us no dubs. You know what I'm trying to say? But it all came down to coaching last year. It all boils down to the bottom line.
So I got a question though. With the media saying all these things, making all these statements, like you said, the ridiculous rumors. What are they trying to do with it? Like what is the end game with trying to spread these rumors and all this stuff? What's your end game? Are you trying to get somebody fired? Are you we trying to get a player out of town? And then let's say we spread so many rumors on something about AJ and AJ's out. AJ just says I'm out. I'm leaving.
You
And
know what, Warren?
then we don't go far, and because of those certain moments that we needed him, now we look stupid.
But you know what, Warren? These people, you know what's a problem with these people? A lot of these reporters, with the way social media and everything is, everything's personal and financial gain for them. And if they could get followers and clicks and likes off something, they're gonna push it. They're gonna put their name on it. They're gonna want to be the guy who ran with this and that. Then you got other reporters who pretty much stay more on the positive end, and they just report things as they are, and don't put too much personal, thought into it, or personal, you know, you know intention on what they're saying. I just
Mm-hmm.
think that the media thinks they're gonna motivate a team or get them to get going, and you're actually going the backwards way, because like here where I live in New York, the teams is the same way. The media just absolutely chews up. You read the papers, it's the newspaper, the new the everybody just tears up Philly, LA, New York, big major cities like this. The media is gonna always kill you. Always. It's just part of playing in a big city. It's part of it. It's part of the game. Now, Philly media, to me, some of them just get a little too personal. A lot of their takes are internal feelings, how they feel towards a player, not towards his game. So that's where the disconnect is to me, because when AJ was scoring all the touchdowns and doing everything, nobody was questioning him then. When Jalen was on his MVP run, nobody was questioning his attitude and his demeanor then. He had the same face when they were 10-1 and when they were going on a 6 game or losing 5 out of 6. He had the same face. You understand what I'm trying
Yeah,
to say? So that's
yeah.
what it is.
And let's see what Vincent was saying. Wasn't Jalen have fun? Was celebrating with his team. Jalen last year.
He was.
He was, but this is my thing though.
Footwork was not he. Jalen was off last year, but again, coach him
But
up.
and not even that, bro. Like think about it. He went from least amount of interceptions to almost the highest interceptions out of the whole
Top
league.
two, top three.
Yeah, he goes from that. So at the end of the day, you're not going to have the same mentality because a lot of it you're going to feel like it's your fault. And like, hey, if they're saying people aren't executing, they're not executing. And yeah, it does. It takes a head coach to help get the team back to where they need to go. That's that's where my pushback on Nick Sirianni is. If if first you were a play caller, you now are not a play caller. You don't do that anymore. Now you're kind of like the morale. You boost the morale. You get you're kind of in charge of just the team's culture.
Absolutely.
Okay, you're in charge of the culture. Okay, at the time where we needed the team's culture to be at its best, it wasn't.
It wasn't there.
So my question is, what's the purpose? What are we doing now? Like, and I feel this is just my personal opinion. I feel like Kellen Moore and Fangio are now going to be in full control of both sides of the ball. Nick may be able to sit down in the meetings, give his input, give his opinions, but everything will not be end all be all on what he says anymore. And I think last year with the young coaches and the inexperienced coaches, that's what Nick was, the end all be all on all decision making. So when you have that,
That's why I
now
said,
you
what
take
is
it
his
away.
role? He's the head coach. What is his role, Warren? That worries me that this guy is in the building, but doesn't have much power, but he has a powerful title.
Yeah.
So
And the biggest thing to that too is okay, usually if your defense isn't doing good, your offense is at least holding things up. The offense wasn't holding things up. And Nick Sirianni is an offensive guy.
he could not figure it out.
Yeah,
I
he
mean,
couldn't figure it out.
they could not. run a crossing route against a blitz for their life.
Yeah. And another
A
thing that I want
simple
to say
drag
is,
route.
yeah, and another thing I want to say too is, okay, let's say we go to the Super Bowl this 2024 season. Let's say we go. Everything that we've been talking about, all the positive, what Kellen Moore can do, it takes us to the Super Bowl. How confident are we that Kellen Moore is going to stay or take another job? And now we're going to be back on the same rotation. That's where I'm at because at the end of the day, I'm going to just use Andy Reid as an example. It doesn't matter who's the offensive coordinator at the end of the day. Andy Reid is going to be the play caller. He's going to say if that play is worth playing or if we're going to execute that or not. Him and Patrick Mahomes, those are the two that are going to say if they're going to execute it. That offensive coordinator is strictly an offensive coordinator. That is what their job is, but they're not the end all be all. If we lose our coordinator, now it's going to be a heavy rotation of what we
It
got
is.
going on. And that's where my issue is on our head coach staying in the building. Because we could have kept Kellen Moore. We could have got Kellen Moore and Fangio and then picked up a different head coach.
I know. I
So,
know. I thought I like I said, his role is very, has a lot of question marks on it. It's very questionable right now. But what are you going to do to redeem yourself after the collapse last year? That to me, his response to how last year ended is going to be more with his attitude, his way. I don't want to see you cursing at Chiefs fans and this and that. I don't want to see you talking smack to fans. I want you to be a coach.
yeah,
Look, there's 31 other coaches around you, and none of them are doing what you're doing. Acting a damn
yeah.
fool sometimes. Just be the head coach. That's all we
Yeah.
want as fans. We don't want our head coach. I hear other fan bases, other thing. I don't like your coach. I don't like your coach. Why you don't like him? Why is he doing this? Because he does sometimes he doesn't even act like a coach. You understand? So that's one thing I want to see from him. Where's your level of maturity and how are you gonna change moving forward? Because it's not working.
And I think there's a press conference either this Tuesday or this Wednesday that Howie Roseman and Nick Sirianni would be talking to the press. And I think it's a little bit on that rumor that went out about Nick. I don't even want to get into that, but that whole rumor about Nick, they're gonna maybe want to talk about it a little bit, kind of tell us what their plans are. But as aggressive as Howie Roseman is, and as much as Nick Sirianni is I need to prove it right now. Jalen doesn't want to be known as a losing quarterback as much as AJ Brown wants to be a dominant receiver and a top receiver. Devontae Smith's on that same page. The
Absolutely.
dogs that we got on defense, you have to have some type of confidence in the team to know that they don't want to repeat this. You have to. I feel like if you don't have confidence in the team to be able to avoid repeating what they did, you can't be a fan. I'm sorry. We picked these players for a reason. When Howie Roseman picked up Hassan Reddick and AJ Brown, Howie Roseman was a genius.
Mm-hmm. It was
Now
all working then.
yeah,
Nobody had questions on it then.
yeah. So let him work right now. Let's see how this draft goes. Let's see this free agency. The correct me if I'm wrong, but March 13th will be the start of the new season. And that is when players can now get picked up that are free
Yep.
agents. So let's see. We got what, a week left? Another
Two
week or
weeks.
week or two to see where we're at right now. So we can see by how strong and aggressive type of moves how he makes, we know where we'll be at. When I knew we got Hassan Reddick that 2022 season, I knew they were coming in. They wanted to do something.
The
And getting
Kelsey
AJ
decision
Brown
should be done
solidified it.
too. Kelsey's gonna decide by the
Yes.
13th because he's gonna have to let them know which direction he's going in because they need to move in their direction.
Yeah. And that was solidified. And I know this 2023 season, we were seeing the pickups that they were getting. They
Yep.
weren't eye popping type of pickups. I think the biggest pickup that we got that was effective was Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith, and Swift. That was it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it wasn't too crazy last offseason.
So like
But
if
they
we
try to
know
go
by
light and they didn't want to
yeah,
pay their guys, and look what ended up happening. So this year they got to figure it out. Good free agent out there. Patrick Queen is out there. Good guys is out there that you could,
Sneed, You got
Snead is
Snead
out
out
there,
there with the
Ladarius
Chiefs.
Snead from the Chiefs. There's people out there. There's players out there.
Yeah. And I remember if for last year, Howie Roseman made the comment that this team is going to be a lot different from the team that we had in the 2022 season. So he knew what type of pieces he was picking up. He knew what pieces he was picking up at the end of the day. So we can't be too surprised by when your GM, the one that's bringing in all these players, is telling them it's not going to be as good of a team that we did have, or things are going to be a lot different. We'll know by Howie's confidence level how aggressive he's going to be at this press conference and the upcoming press conferences. We'll know.
Well, no, that's for
Yeah.
sure.
But yeah, Jay, before we get up out of here, you got anything you want to let everybody know?
Yeah, no, just like I'm excited to see from new year, new identity. I want to see what identity the team is gonna bring.
Yeah, most definitely. I'm right there with you. I know I would like we talked about. CJ Dillon's a big one that I would like to bring. Snead is one I would like to bring in, and then possibly picking up. I know we were talking about Jeremiah Trotter Jr. in the draft, so we'll be having our eyes out on the draft. Everybody, please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you can get more information on us. Me and Jay will probably be on in the next 2 to 3 weeks, talking a little bit more about the draft and who we could possibly be picking up and our anticipations for it, and the free agency news. So definitely be on the lookout for that. More shorts will be coming out as well. But that's all we got right now. This is Warren,
This is Jay.
and we the Eagles Collective. Thank you.